Guys, how you doing today? I hope all is great from your end. I want to start with an apology. Um, that we fixed I think two events today instead of two events at the same time. So one is with Mr. Deji, and then the other is with Sanfongo. So we're going to start with the Sanfongo one, 4 p.m. to 5, and then we're starting with Mr. Deji by 5. Okay, so tell me your name and where you're joining us from. Your name and where you're joining us from. Okay, let's get to know you. Okay, your name and where you're joining us from. Let's see. Also, Mr. Sanfongo, if you are in the building, just send me a request and I'll be able to pull you up, and then we start today. So the first session, we have Victor. Victor, where are you joining from? So your name and where you're joining from. The first session we want to look at today is on how do you do real estate business here in the UK, from the auction perspective as well as from the perspective of sourcing deals. There are a lot of opportunities in the UK, and they come by the way of, first of all, you can make money by just learning how to source for real estate deals, and you get commission ranging from 1 to 2 to 3%. As a sourcer, as a deal sourcer here in the UK. Also, you can make money from auction. Auction is one of the fastest way to sell real estate here in the UK, because the conventional way of going through mortgage and all of that, can take 3 months or more just to, buy and sell a deal. So a lot of time, one of the fastest way to go about things is to go through auction. It's a lot faster, and you can get a very cheap deals, affordable deals that way. Okay, I have Ajobi from Lagos. Welcome, Ajobi, again. Tell me your name, your city. Regina from Lagos. Welcome, Regina. George Oluchi from Nigeria. Where Nigeria? Timothy from Lagos. Somebody says I'm from Atlanta, but where was your name, first of all, right? Because most of you, your Instagram handle is totally different from your name. So you need to state your name and then your handle. Very important, very important. State your name and then you state your handle. Okay? Let me see. Okay, who else is here? Let me see. I have Hansen from Lekki. Welcome, Hansen. I have Muiwa from Atlanta. Alexia from Rwanda. How are you, Alexia? I was in Rwanda last year. I had a great time in Rwanda. Okay, welcome. Victor from Owerri, Nigeria. Thank you. Tolu from Manchester. Yes, my sister. It was nice seeing you for the first time in Manchester. The meet and greet in Manchester was really good seeing you. I hope, of course, I'm told you're joining virtually on our Saturday and Sunday training. You're joining virtually. So, yeah. Who else is here? Who else is here? Let me see. I hope Sanfongo knows how to do IG Live, because Sanfongo is old school, and people of the old school don't know how to do IG Live. So Sanfongo, please send me a request on IG so I can pull you up. So you will see a pop-up sign where you just send me a request for me to pull you up so that we can start the show proper. We have, I think, 15 minutes more, I have 3 shows today. Can you believe it? 3 IG live today. So this is like the first one. Well, God is my strength, huh? Okay. God is my strength. Finally is here. Mr. Sean from Canada, how are you?
Absolutely. Sam Fungal from London. I'm here fantastically well. I just need to flip my camera right now, but I'm not seeing the button to flip my camera. Um,
Yeah, I already told my audience to forgive you that you are no school. You are
no, well,
not
so
you are not
I'm more a Zoom
generation.
man, but I'm fine. I'm finally here. That's good.
I
Yeah.
already told them that you are not of the Gen Z generation, so
Oh yes, yes, yes.
they can
But
forgive.
we try. We'll try. We try to keep up. Yeah, we try and keep up. Yeah. But good, good. So how's the day been so far? Good.
I've been busy. I've been meeting all day. I mean, I just had to jump out of one meeting, jump here. But it's been beautiful so far. But how are you doing as well? Are you at home? Are you at work? Where are you?
All is good today. I'm watching quite a lot of auctions. I decided to do it from my home office today. So I didn't go into the office today. So it's
Okay,
all good. Yeah. And then
beautiful.
and so I can have some quiet because in the office there's bound to be someone that would disturb me.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. So introduce yourself. I mean, to a lot of my audience, they may not know who is Samuel Fongo. So kindly introduce yourself.
Okay. So Sam Fungo. I've been in the real estate industry for close to 20 years, but 10 years very much in the auction scene in the UK, London in particular. And well, what I tend to do in the auction space is on a daily basis, I appraise properties that are to be listed at auction. I cover the whole of the UK. So early morning, I could be dealing with properties up north from Manchester, from Hartlepool, and then suddenly, which is like some of the cheapest properties where a big property can be going for like 30,000 or 40,000 pounds. And then later, I'm appraising a property, a studio flat in Mayfair for £1 million. So I swing from end to end. And I thought I mentioned this because a lot of people overseas think when they think of UK property, they think about London. They think everything is 1 million. But there are properties, good houses in the UK for £40,000 up north, and you can rent them out for good income as well. So on a daily basis, I press properties to actually list at auction with various auction companies because the firm I work for, we're a brokerage company. We list properties with auction companies. On the flip side, I have a big collage of clients that I acquire properties on their behalf. One of the most recent acquisitions I did last week was a block of 5 flats in Nottingham that was being repossessed. And when properties are being sold by repo, there's no access to view them, but we have a way of viewing them. So there's no competition because we have a tactic of actually dealing with them. So in a nutshell, I am your person. I'm your man. If you're looking to acquire or dispose properties in the UK, either at auction or off market. So I think that's a good enough explanation of
Okay,
who I am.
can we welcome again Sam Fongo one more time? Everybody, can you help me clap for him? That was a good introduction. But let's go deeper. We need to even understand what this auction is all about. So, when you say auction, what does it mean in terms of real estate?
Okay, in England, when you decide to sell a property, there are two ways that you can sell. You can either sell by what they call private treaty, which is what you see with an estate agent. You walk in, an estate agent takes a property for sale, they put it up, you walk in and you make an offer. Then they present your offer to the vendor. If the vendor accepts your offer, they ask for your solicitor's details, and the vendor solicitor, they start talking to you. And then the transaction goes through and hopefully it transacts. On the flip side, when we sell at auction, it's totally different. At an auction, what tends to happen is if I I'm doing my marketing for my lead generation and I call someone that agrees to sell that property at auction, what we do is that we collect all the information about the property, and then we list it on a list of properties. Everyone goes and views the properties. We put a guide price that's very low, whereas with the estate agent, they put a very high price and then you make offers, lower offers to try and see who is the quickest down the bottom of the pit. But with auctions, we would put the price very low to attract the whole world to that property and then and present all the legal process, all the legal matters about that property in a what they call legal pack, which everyone sees it. You know what you're going for, and then one day everyone comes and then bids, and then the highest winner wins the property. And as soon as you win, you pay 10% exchange, and then you complete in 28 days. That, in a nutshell, is really what auctions are compared to selling to an estate agent.
Okay, beautiful. So you pay 10% of the money and then you pay the rest in 28 days. Can you explain the process? Because what if you need mortgage? Are you saying that you can get a mortgage in 28 days?
Now, it's extremely difficult to get a mortgage in 28 days. However, you can get a bridging, in fact, even some bridging finance guys cannot work in 28 days. You need to have a good lender, bridge lender that can work in 28 days. Bridging is a short-term lending. It's like a mortgage, but it's more expensive than mortgage, but it's quicker because a mortgage would actually, it takes a lot longer because they're highly regulated. They look at your affordability. They'll ask you how many cigarettes you smoke a day. Do you go to the gym? So they have to look at your lifestyle. How many holidays do you have a year? And all of how many. Whereas with a bridge lending, all they care about is the property. As long as there's equity, the property has no problems. They will lend you 70% loan to value, and then so that's much quicker. On a personal note, for us as Midas, we have a couple of wealthy individuals that we use for private lending. It's slightly more expensive again. It's upstairs, but it can be done in 2 days, right? If you need the money like this evening, they can talk to you and release the money, but you pay for the velocity.
So what's the kind of the interest rates if you're doing bridging loan, then interest rate if you're doing the private lending? I call it hard money. So if you're doing hard money, what's the interest rate like?
Interest bridging, you can get it from say on a monthly basis, say 0.08 to about 1 or 1.1. And private money is from 1 to about 1.5, depending on percent per month.
So it's calculated per month.
They will do that per month because when we arrange it, the bridging, the payment is optional. Bridging and the lending, you can either roll up the interest so you don't have to pay anything until 6 months when you pay the whole loan back. But most often, I try and advise clients when they can to pay the interest monthly. So you just pay 1% every month of what you borrowed. So at the end of the term of the loan, you just pay what you borrowed because you've been paying the interest every month.
Okay. But how realistic is that? The way you work with people, is it that they will eventually have to convert the bridging loan to a mortgage, or how do you work with them on this?
Yes, that's what we call exit strategy. So because of course, lending is not marriage, right? So when someone's lending you money, they expect to get it back. There's no until death do us part, as they say at the wedding ceremony, even though very few people wait for death. But on a more serious note, when it comes to lending, I would have to, especially, I'll have to, if bridging, finance, because mortgage is a long term. You don't have an exit strategy, right? So mortgage is probably more akin to marriage. But bridging and private lending, you must have a very strong exit strategy when you're lending. So I would say to some people, some exit, I'll have to write to my investor saying I've got a day that wants to buy this property from auction. It's 400,000, so it needs 300,000 because he has 100, so he needs 700. His exit one. He wants to maybe flip the property because there's some property you buy at auction so cheap, and then he can flip it. He can sell it on for profit. Exit two, he wants to build it into a HMO and then refinance and then pay you back, or just a single buy to let. But you must have your exit strategy clear to the person that's lending you money, because even though you have a contract, you sign through lawyers, it's executable in in a law court. But everyone that's lending money really does not want to go to court. They would rather be lending and getting the money back than having to go through a recovery. And you see that a lot even with short leases. Because in the UK, when you increase the lease of a flat, something that we can talk about on Saturday, the value can jump up significantly. So that you can buy using bridging, and then you say to the lender, I'm going to increase the lease of the property, which will then increase the value. So you can buy a property, which I'll share some case studies on Saturday of short leases that I've lent against, where the person has now increased the lease and then the value has gone up. Then they've taken a mortgage, paid back the bridging, and then they keep some money for themselves, actually.
Mm. Okay, so if I get you correctly, it's a situation where so we give it maybe like a practical term. I'm buying this property. I bought this property at auction for, let's say, £500,000,
Okay.
and I took a bridging loan. And now, after a few months, I'm trying to get a mortgage, and the value probably is now almost at the rate of £600,000. Just give an example. You can let me know whether that's correct or not. And I then it's almost like a refinance of some sort, to get a mortgage. And at that point, one is able to get enough to pay the bridging loan and still have something on the side. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely correct. Yes.
Okay.
You can get it. Yeah, you can get that because yeah. And besides, bridging is always 70% loan to value. But once you go to buy to let, you might get yourself 80 or 90% loan to value. And then and because you've increased the value of the property, so you have more than enough money to pay the bridging, and then you keep some money for yourself.
So this is a business on its own. Even just from the, purchase alone, you're already having liquidity. Even aside the rental income in the future and the capital appreciation in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Guys, are you getting value? Are you learning here? If you're learning, type I'm learning, I'm getting value. By the way, Mr. Samfongo will be speaking on Saturday at the Real Estate Investment Masterclass here in London. We have amazing people who have registered. You can be one of those who have opportunity to be at the event, physically or virtually. And we're focusing on sharing about real estate here in the UK. I will be taking you through about 7 different types, from HMO, to auction, which he will be talking about, to normal, buy to rent, buy to let, rent to rent, short let, several types and opportunities in the real estate world that you can take advantage of here in the UK. It promises to be a fantastic time. He will be breaking a lot of things down for you guys, and it's not easy to have him, but he will come and he will share. And what is beautiful is that he will also be willing to hold you by the hands. So, because I know many of you want to start your real estate business ASAP. So this is someone who has integrity and can hold you and pull you through, and help you with some of your first deals while you're learning on the job. Because for me, it was important to not just train you, but to also leave you in the hands of credible people that can take you beyond the 2-day training that we're doing. So my next question will be, Before I get into sourcing, because I know you will also be sharing a bit about sourcing, why is it important? What's the benefits, of, auction compared to the private, purchase through an agent? What's the benefits? One or two, three benefits of auction?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a few. If you that's a great question. Because if you remember, I've said, with private treaty, you walk in, you make an offer. Right now on your hotel, you're probably right. You're on your phone in your hotel in Mayfair. If you just step out from your hotel, all those estate agents, their properties are like 2 million, 5 million pounds, right? So anyone on this call can walk into any of the estate agents and make an offer on a property, right? Some estate agents can do more due diligence, but it's difficult. It could be your dad's money in your pocket, on your account, or you don't have any money. So the main thing is, you can walk into an estate agent, you make an offer without knowing much about the property. The offer is accepted. Two solicitors start working. It can take 2, 3 months for them, one, to discover that you don't have enough money to buy the property, by the way, and then two, to find out maybe there's some technical issues about the house, legal issues that you don't like, and you don't like the property. So it takes 3 months, and then
3 months is wasted, just like
it's
that.
wasted, and then it's back to someone else. I can share my message now. I just have a lady, they have a probate property in South London. It's a third person that they've gone through right now. So it's been like 6 months. And so when they do that, then they come to me when they've been everywhere, and then they come, we want to go to auction. Whereas with auction, because we put all the legals together, everything that the solicitor does in private treaty in 3 months, we condense it into one legal pack. I sit here in 30 minutes, I do what a solicitor does in 3 months. I review a legal pack, decide if I should buy a property or not. That's why solicitors go through that for the whole 3 months at auction, so you know what you are getting into, and then you go and bid committedly. So that's why you pay the mortgage. So if you're selling a property that you're distressed, you go to an estate agent, you might end up losing a property because it can take 1 year to sell. Whereas with auction, it can sell within one auction cycle. So it's a lot more committed buyers. That's why our tagline is Midas Property Auctions, where committed sellers meet committed buyers. So yeah, so our platform is where if you're a committed seller, you come, you meet a committed buyer. Unlike with estate agency, where the people in an estate agency world that put their property on the market to test the market. You cannot
Yeah.
test the market with auctions. Yeah, if you put it in, it's gone and it's gone.
Yeah.
You cannot test. Let me test the market and see what it's like. So that's one of the key
Benefits.
difference in articulation, in how the two are articulated. And then, of course, with auctions, you get a wider audience because it's marketed quite widely, whereas most estate agents will market within their square mile. So the estate agents work on the mantra that there is a local people that buy locally. Auctions work on the assumption that property is global. The people that are in Nigeria on auctions, the people from foreign countries, from the US, they buy, just they follow the auction and buy properties. So it's a much wider audience. You get more eyes, more eyeballs on your property than when you go to a local estate agent. So there are tons of benefits of selling to auction, but those are the main differences.
I mean, fantastic. So if I, let's say, I want to learn how to, do what you do, and I'm just giving an example where I'm an auction broker. I believe that's the word, an auction broker.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do I need to go about it? I know you will share more during the training on Saturday, but what's the procedure if I want to be an auction broker?
Yeah. The process is quite simple. What we have in the UK is our industry in the UK is not very regulated, so there's no official formal training courses out there. It's really to probably get mentored, go into get workshops. Sometimes we run workshops for 1 or 2 days, workshop for people that want to get into auctions, where we'll go through the process, how to look at the all the paperwork, do all your due diligence. So you need to go through, get mentored into getting that done. So sometimes I sometimes run a mentorship program for either a couple of weeks or a couple of months to get it on a journey.
So that means people can informally learn how to be to be an auction broker, because there are no technically formal lessons or like formal ways.
Yes, there isn't like so like in the US, where I know you transact a lot in the US, they have exams where you can do, and then you do exams. But in the UK, you just have to find someone that knows what they're talking about, and then they'll mentor you into it.
Yeah, in the US, you have to be licensed. It's a state license program. You have to go. I mean, it's a whole heavily regulated, and it's a whole thing. But I think this is good. Why do you think people of color, from your own opinion, don't go into this industry? Because I see people rather take more, ridiculous. I mean, what I hear most time of a lot of our immigrants when they come here, they are having to, take care to go to older people's home, and they really don't like those jobs, but they are forced to do that. When there are a lot of other better opportunities like this, why don't people take it?
Okay, that's a very, very interesting question, actually. I'll share a short story, but it's a mindset thing. It's a really a mindset where they're scared. Like there's, I think I'll talk to you a lot about this guru that I speak at these events every 6-7 weeks with about 700 people in the room.
Yeah.
And I remember 2 weeks ago I did the last one, and I always stay around for a long time. And then while I get a lot of satisfaction speaking, because almost 30 to 40% are black young youths in the audience. So there was a couple of young, and then they always take bets on which country I'm from when I talk. So, well, a lot of them, they win the bet because they pick Nigeria all the time. But even though it's a wrong picture, but it's a wrong country, but it's the right one, if you know what I mean. So they always take a bet. So there were about probably about close to 10 black kids that stood after the event. And then I was in the hotel just checking my email. So they came and started chatting with me. They said, "Oh, how did you get?" And I said to them that you should feel free to ask me any question. "Oh, how did you get into doing what you do? Because you're African, you have an accent." And I said, "Well, everyone has an accent, so it's for you." No, he said, "You still have an accent." And I said, "Let me correct you. I have an accent. No, I still." Because when you say you still, it sounds like it's a work in progress, because it's not work in progress. This is me. It's work in progress. So that's what I'm saying, that it's a mindset. So for that guy coming in a room of 700, I held a room for 2 hours, spoken, answered all the questions, and then he got, wow, how did he get in? Because for him, he thinks I should be doing something different. Oh, in quote. So I think for me, that's a satisfaction to see that those guys, they come, they say, wow,
yeah,
I could be doing this as well. So it's it gives one a lot of satisfaction to speak to an audience like that, and then have a young man that has a wrong connotation, thinking that there's a particular way, there's a particular accent that you need to use to speak about property auctions. But but yeah. And then the guy, he wrote to me and he said, when he got home, he sent me a WhatsApp to say, "Oh yeah, we quite like what I say. I should take the word still that I have." Because it's not going away anytime soon.
It's not going away. I mean, you're very right. I see the same issue. Somebody said, "How can you mentor me?" He's ready to mentor you this Saturday and Sunday. Just send me a DM. I will send you the link to register. And because of him, you will also be getting a 50% discount to come. And during the training, he's going to mentor you. And if you then want further mentorship, he will be there to give it to you. It's important to understand that I see a lot of people of color really frustrated in the UK, and that's part of the reason why I decided to do the conference, the workshop, is because I see a lot of our people are very frustrated. Some are even doing well, whether they were in Cameroon or Ghana or Nigeria or Kenya, they were doing well back at home. But when they moved to the UK, everybody told them, no, 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 you have to go to nursing, you have to be a nurse, and then you have to start from this level, you need to, and they just hate what they're doing. They are not proud of what they're doing. And everybody convinced them that there's no other way.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, here is an opportunity to either directly be buying property at auction and making cool money for yourself in a space of 3 months, like we just learned here, where I could buy a property at auction for, let's say, 500,000, add value to it in 6 months down the line, sell the same property for maybe 600 or 700, and I've made 100,000 pounds, as a difference. Or I could even learn informally how to become a property and a broker at auction and make a good cut, because average broker, you can tell us how much you guys made in percentage, but that's also another business model, and yet people are not willing to go into it. How did you get into this business, by the way? And you can tell us average, percentage how auction brokers charge.
Okay. For me, I've always been, I started out more in IT. When I finished from uni, I worked in like Cisco network design, and then especially after Y2K, so I was buying properties just by the side for investment. I think after Y2K, all the boom, and then IT kind of the rates went down from what we're used to. So I stepped aside. We set up a family business that like an agency that employs nurses and doctors to the NHS, which the family.
I can't hear you.
Yeah,
I think.
I had a phone call that came through. So yeah, so I then I did I had acquired quite a few properties for which we put our staff for the nursing agency in. And then we had a more and more requirement of our properties, and I started looking for investors that can buy properties so we can rent them off them. And then gradually I decided to move into properties and start being a broker, trying to get people to buy properties. Then I decided that the best way to be an authority in a field is to start a networking event. So I started a networking event in central London. It's amazing how it's again like you do it the first day, you see that you don't know if people are going to come. You might get 4 or 5 people come, and then gradually it goes on until I was doing events for Harrow, for Brent Council, for all the councils with 600 people in the room. But you start with 1 or 2 people turning up, right? And then eventually you start having 600. If you come to Harrow, Brent, Barnet, you meet most of the landlords. They think that I work for the council because I moderate. When the council wants to bring all the landlords together, they give us we do it for them. And that's me seeing Harrow Council doing the landlord event. Not many people were turning up, so I turn up early, have the team put up flyers, have them manage it for a friend. I said, you guys can do better. And I invited the team from there to come to my own networking event. When they come and saw how I was doing it, so Harrow Council was the first to outsource the events to me. So I did it, then brand other councils. And once people see you as an authority, then you can finish that relationship in any direction. But it was quite key to have those events. So that's a tip for anyone that's living in any part of the UK. There's nothing stopping you from starting a networking event. It could be just a pub where you get every Friday at 6 o'clock, property professionals come and buy their own drinks and you chat. You can bring one person to come and speak or just chat, and it grows your authority around. Put it this way, you cannot do any harm if you do that.
But what are the typical percentages that an auction broker will charge for a successful?
Typically, we tend to charge about 2% of the purchase price. 2% or minimum 3 or 4, about 4,000 plus VAT as a minimum. And then that's and the percentage change goes up higher depending on what else is being done. Like the property I just acquired for a client that's being repossessed, that you have to do a lot of work. You really have to be like a detective, Inspector Columbus. You go around, go see the property, create rapport.
Yeah.
And funny enough, when you were talking about Africans that come here and do different jobs, in that block of 6 flats, one of the couple in there, they're on COS from Nigeria, and doing care work. When I was chatting with him, the guy was doing, it was the top guy in Nigeria in oil, working for an oil and gas company. So I just said to myself, why are you here doing care work? But I didn't ask him that. You can't be that rude. But yeah, so I tend to see a lot of tenants in houses that I'm buying up north from Nigeria that were doing fantastic jobs back home, but they've come here with their wives. They're staying in a small 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom flat, but maybe they've left their big property back home. But yeah, but that's the reality of life. It's about 2%. Yeah.
So are you saying that? I mean, for people, by the way, guys, are we learning again? If you're learning, just type I'm learning. By the way, are you saying that it is better for people to consider career in real estate? Even as immigrants, once they get proper training, it's a better source of livelihood compared to just, struggling up like we often see our people do.
Absolutely. I mean, I know there's a transition, right? But when you come in, which I had a lot of chat with that chap that's in that place, in that property. So he's getting very interested because he's so inspired to see when I came and I knock on the door and I say, "Oh, we're buying." Before that day, the day before the auction, the guy was wishing me good luck that I win the auction. Like, I would like to have you as my landlord, sir. So he's very encouraged, and he's been talking to me about how can he look at property. So he's already on it, trying to see how he can start going through. And the good thing about real estate in the UK is that you don't have to be in the UK. You can be in Nigeria. You can be anywhere, because there are lots of people here that operate in the market from India. You just need to have good understanding. There are VAs, people that work as virtual assistants. They work in the property companies here. And it takes a long time to know that some of those guys, they tell you how close it is to Oxford Street Station, and then you realize that they've never been to the UK, but they know the UK, and they know the map, the tube map than yourself. They give you directions. So yes, it helps if you're in the UK. You don't have to be in London. I do properties across the UK. You don't have to be in the UK. The roles are, if you understand the real estate sector in the UK, you can work virtually for a property company in the UK. You can just be the person that writes descriptions for the properties. You can just be the person that maybe creates all the brochures and your best. I mean, I have a staff member in Abuja that will pay £500 a month to work from Nigeria remotely. Yeah, apart from every time he says he's going to buy petrol for his generator, but yeah, apart from that, he's okay when it works. But and at times I think that the challenges in Africa, but some of the staff use it to their own advantage. Oh yeah, there's no petrol. Maybe he's going to do his own errands. But the people that work in real estate in the UK earning £500 a month, best in Nigeria, and I know quite a few. So.
Wow, and that's true. I mean, the opportunity is endless. It's all over. Just getting the right training, it gives you an opportunity to, be part of this anywhere in the world. Abigail Sanu says, "Where's Saturday's training?" So it's a hybrid training, Abigail. You can attend virtually or you can attend physical. The physical one is at Sheraton Grand London, Park Lane, here in London. But again, Abigail, if you're really serious, send me a DM. For all of you who want to come for Saturday and Sunday training, send me a DM right now. Like I said, you will even get some discount on the training. Send me a DM right now with your full detail, and I'll send you the link to register for the training on Saturday. I believe, like we said, it's called the Real Estate Investment Masterclass, and is a 2-day event. I'll be giving you, participation certificate. You will be getting. I mean, we have refreshment. We have. It's a proper structured training. It's for 2 days, and you can attend physically or virtually. So I have people joining us from Manchester. One is coming virtually. Joining virtually. One is attending physically. People are coming from Glasgow. We even have more people coming for the event from outside London than those who are in London for the physical one. So you can come virtually or you can come physically, but it promises to be a real life-changing experience. And what I love about real estate is practical. It's a business model you can learn, and you start earning money immediately once you understand how the industry works. And like Mr. Sanfongo said, because the UK real estate sector is not as regulated like the US, you don't need a certificate, you don't need, all these UA graduates, or do you need to go and get a license? None of that is required here. You just need to have the informal training. So I've just pinned the link for those who are asking how to register. Just go to that link I just pinned, and you can register. I mean, let's get to the sourcing part of this. What is deal sourcing when it comes to real estate here in the UK?
Okay. Deal sourcing in the UK, just to put simple, is where someone on this call, or anyone that's learned all the skills how to look for a good property, and then you go out there and you find a good property, a good investable property, but you haven't got the money to invest in that property. You then direct someone else that you look for someone else that you think might want to buy that property. You then present that opportunity to them for a fee. That's like deal sourcing.
Mm.
So you look for, so there's a whole lot of things that you do in between. You can package a deal, you can do whatever you do in between. But the most basic description of deal sourcing is you find an opportunity. Maybe either you haven't got the money, or you haven't got the time, or for some reason you cannot do it yourself. Then you pass it on to someone else that is looking for that opportunity for a fee. So it's a very great entry level position for people that haven't got a lot of money to invest yet. You learn the skills, you look for deals, and then you could actually pass it on to someone else for a fee.
Okay, so basically, in summary, deal sourcing is looking for a great real estate deal that will give good returns, whether in form of investment, rental income, or capital appreciation, and then you package the deal, in a very well presentable manner, and then look for somebody who is looking for such a deal and present it to them, and then you charge them a fee for that. Is that correct?
Absolutely, spot on. Yeah, and the fees is same like what we do for brokerage, like up to about 2%. Again, like I said, that's like what I call, that's a menu fee on a menu, but the fees can vary, can go much higher, because you might have experts that work in the Middle East. So you get them a deal, and then it's a project. They say you could do a project management as well, so they pay you a bit more to manage it. So it can stretch it more. But as a simple, just giving someone a deal, it could be 2%, 1%, or whatever price. You can then offer them more services to manage a project, and other things that you could do as well.
Why is deal sourcing a need in the UK? I mean, why can't just anybody just go get a deal? Why must I look for somebody to source for a property for me?
It really is time. It's people trading that time. Most people don't have the time, because when you think about it, you would think, okay, like I say, we do acquisition on from auctions, right? You think or even sourcing. You do sourcing from Rightmove. Everyone has access to Rightmove, right? But you don't have time
Mm.
to look at it. If you just go on Rightmove now, you search for properties within 1 mile of your location, you're gonna get like 50 or 100 properties come up. So people don't have time to actually go looking for that on that every single day. So they rather someone brings it to them. And then second, like I was talking about setting up a networking event or some meetup where people come. You might have people that come and then they, especially you have some estate agents that become friends of yours. They can call you when as soon as they get an instruction, they let you know because they know that you have buyers. Once you've done a deal with an estate agent, they can always call you as soon as they have deals or they have an instructions.
Mm.
So people that have money, they rather look for people that have contacts that can bring them good deals.
Mm. So to be a deal to start a career in deal sourcing, what are the requirements?
It really, again, like I say, in the UK, it's not very regulated. You just need to get trained, but then you have to get compliant in the sense that there's you can then have some insurance situation that you have to go through process to get your insurance, just to cover yourself as well, just in case deals go wrong. You can be covered by an insurance policy where
Okay.
you're giving someone a deal. And that's if you're acting as a company, or you can do co-sourcing where you can find someone that is compliant and then you co-source with them. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's good. So, I mean that makes a lot of sense. So, and I mean, from your experience, what are the average income, a month a good deal sourcer can make potentially, of course.
I, I would say in terms of like absolute numbers, it's not unusual to be making 4,000-5,000 pounds a month from
Mm.
deal sourcing. And then but that very much depends on where you are. If you are in London,
Mm.
then you know maybe 1 or 2 deals a month that will give it out more than that, or one deal a month. If you're up now, and then you can source even rent to rent as well. Like you can see landlords that want to rent their properties. You get them you package it and then get someone that wants to do a rent essay to take it off you, so you're not doing it yourself. So there's a
Mm.
whole range of service that you can do in the middle. So let's say like in London, in Harrow, where a 3 bedroom house will rent for 2,200, 2,500.
Yeah.
Typically, you charge 1 month rent for sourcing. So
Wow.
you can get 2,000 something if you source one deal a month. So if you source two, you're already making 4,000 pounds.
Wow. So this
Yeah.
sourcing can be done for rental as well. It's not just
Oh,
for
yeah.
houses that
Oh,
have
yeah.
been built.
In fact, it's a lot more, it's quite common for rental a lot because most people get into property using rent to rent. So they
Yeah.
rent the property from an owner and then rent it out.
Yeah.
And that's where, yeah, there's a lot of dual sourcing in rental.
Wow. Wow. And is rent to rent legal in the UK?
Yes, it's legal. You just say you have to have the have a proper contract.
With
There's
landlord.
a lot of case laws, especially HMO laws are very strict, where if you overcrowd the property, the landlord can be charged. So it's quite important that if you are a landlord and you do a rent to rent, you make sure you have a good contract so that it exonerates you. If there's any issue in the property, you don't want the operator to say, "Oh, I was working as an agent for you." So you need to have not just an estate agency contract that I'm renting a house. You need to be very clear on the money on the contract,
Mm.
whose responsibility it is to make the house compliant.
Mm.
So that if the house is not compliant, it shouldn't come to you as the owner. So there are ways that you indemnify yourself as a property owner before you do a rent to rent. Because if not, you can find yourself in sticky water.
Amazing, amazing. So we need to start wrapping up. Guys, again, can we put your hands together and help me celebrate Mr. Sanfongo for coming and sharing with us? Like we said, this is just a pre-event Instagram live, just to have a taste of what you're going to be learning from him this coming Saturday and Sunday. We have amazing 2-day training. I'm the main speaker. I'll be sharing with you 7 different ways to make money from the real estate sector in the UK, in the US, in Dubai, in Africa. So it's a very detailed training. But I've decided to bring a lot of my friends who are based in the UK who also break down their own area of specialty and what they are able to do. And they will be very detailed. They'll make sure that they support you even after the event. You can have access to them as you start your journey in the real estate sector here in the UK. But the training is virtual and physical, so it's hybrid. You can attend virtually, you can attend physically. We currently have a lot of people, over 50 people in my real estate class who are already coming, right? So we're just having limited seats for those who are not in the class, okay? Because I have a 6 months to 1 year mentorship in the real estate sector. And this class is mainly for them because many of them are already real estate developers back in Africa, but they want to start doing development in the UK, in the US. So we have put this together to help them to be able to expand their businesses globally. Some are in the US and are trying to expand in the UK. And that's why this event has been put together. So you might want to join that amazing community, and you have opportunity to also join that community of people and network and partner together as well. My last question will be, why is it important? I mean, even though you're based here in the UK, but you have an idea of real estate in the US, in Dubai, in Africa. What is the leverage? What is the edge that real estate in the UK has compared to other countries of the world?
Okay. That's a fantastic question. Just before I answer that, I'm just going to do a public announcement. As I say, I've got, like you said earlier, I'm very old school when it comes to technology. But my team, they're pushing me to do TikTok and all this Instagram. So I promise them I'm going to do 100 videos this weekend when I come to your Saturday to Q&A. So they build up videos, which I've started answering the questions on video so they can put it onto my Instagram to share some knowledge and drive some following. So please follow me and send me a question so that we need 100 questions for me to do on Saturday. So I will come in, I'll be in a hotel after my speaking gig. I'll sit somewhere and answer 100 questions on video, and then they'll put them onto my Instagram as Q&A. So I want to come to this century in terms of technology. So please help me along the way. Now back to your
Uncle Samfongo.
yeah. So get me. So follow me and send me a question to answer, and I'll answer it for you very well. Then now back to your question that what is the difference in real estate in the UK? Funny enough, I remember the first time I went to Dubai. It's probably getting my twins are 20 years old, right? When I went to Dubai, I think they were like young. So, but Dubai has changed a lot. So everything I see in Dubai is new. It's new houses. They are. It's not been proven. Yeah. So it's good. It's good income, but you don't know what you don't know yet. If you come to London or UK, generally most of the houses they've been here for like 100 years. Some of the houses, so the industry is a lot more mature. It's really underpinned by real economics. Whereas other places you think is a bit fluffy, you don't know, the values can go up and down quite quickly because of the expansion. That's for Dubai. And in America, it's the same to an extent because the planning laws in the UK are very restrictive. Whereas in a place like America, they can open a new town with 10,000 houses in one go. It's extremely difficult to see that in the UK. We have so much brownfields. I'm going to set you a question which I will answer to you on Saturday if you cannot Google it yourself. Do you know the percentage of land mass in the UK that's lived on? If you find that out, you'll be totally shocked. Despite the fact that we have so much shortage of accommodation in the UK. Go find out. If you're too lazy to Google, you come on Saturday. I'll tell you the percentage of landmass in the UK that's lived on. You'll be shocked at how small the number is. So it's the planning rules in the UK that are holding the real estate industry so strong, because there's no way that anyone cannot come into power and say, I'm just going to build 1 million houses. The planning laws will hold you back. And that's what underpins the real estate. Like we were chatting about planning permission. Yeah. The time it takes you to get planning permission, that's why it's only the rich people that can do that. If you're not rich, you cannot buy land without planning, because just the holding cost will kill you off. Yeah. So the rich will get richer because they can buy land for X, get planning, and then sell it for 4X, because they are the only ones that can afford to hold it. So that is the planning system keeps the industry focused and very controlled.
So what you're saying in essence is that the real estate market in the UK is very solid. It's not open to just easily crashing. And I agree with you. I mean, the 2008 crisis, the UK, of course, also had its own share, but it wasn't as bad as the US. And because the real estate, institutions here is solid, property, they kind of create the natural scarcity. Even to find deals in the UK is a major issue. I mean, you're looking for property to buy in the US is easy, right? The deals are everywhere. But here in the UK, I mean, it's really difficult to find good deals, to find lands with permits that you can, or lots with permits that you can just take advantage of. So, guys, it's an opportunity for you to come into the sector here in the UK. It's not regulated for you as a practitioner. You can make good money for yourself. You can make extra income for yourself. Either it's rent-to-rent, HMO, deal sourcing, auction. We're going to be teaching you all and more this Saturday and Sunday. And the event is hybrid. It's both physical and virtual, and you can be part of it. I want to thank you once again, Samuel Fongo, for coming. We really appreciate your wisdom and sharing, and we cannot wait to have you on Saturday and learn. Thank you so much. Any final words?
Yes, so just to thank you for the opportunity. It's always great to work with you. I look forward. I always follow your content. You have a great impact on the continent. I don't know where exactly you live, because every time I see you, you're flying to a different country every time I see you on social media. So so long may you continue to inspire our people on the continent and our people across the world. And I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. So for those of you that haven't Googled the percentage of landmass that's lived on in the UK, come on Saturday. I will tell you. I'll be your Google on that day. If you can't, if you don't want to Google yourself, because I was expecting that someone would have put the number in, or I've been watching the other screen to see if anyone puts a percentage, but no one has. So I think you all want to come and hear from the horse's mouth on Saturday.
Awesome. Well, by the way, in the next 15 minutes, I'm starting another IG Live. I have 3 IG Live today.
Okay.
Go help me.
So I'm going to go off now. So thank you once more.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
We're starting another IG Live. Make sure you come and invite others.